I was spoiled. All right. Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. This is Wealth Principle 39. Everything. Oh, no. How you do everything is how you do anything is how you do everything. We'll pull that back. Wealth Principle 39 is how you do anything is how you do everything. In fact, I got in a conversation with somebody on Facebook. He said, that's not true. That doesn't work. And then proceeded to tell me how he's analytical and he does everything with all the intensity. And what happens is he is more successful than the people who are not doing the analytical stuff and taking the right actions. And I had to just write a little comment back and let him know that's because how you do everything, how you do anything is how you do everything. You're analytical and stuff, so you're more successful. You then take massive action. You work harder than you maybe thought you would have had to, but you work hard until accomplishing the goal. That means, I bet when you hit the gym, you do it the same way. I bet when you're in your relationship and you're in an argument, you're doing it the same way. But when you're making the bed, you're doing it the same way, which means I bet when you're in business, you're doing it the same way. Is everybody seeing this? This makes sense? How you do anything is how you do everything? Well, it goes much deeper than that. There's a lot of uses around this lesson, and I want to go through them in a way that's going to improve your business. And I also want to do it in a way that's going to improve your life and your relationships. Do I have your permission to go all over the board on this one? Is that okay? Awesome. Where are my real estate investors at? If you're a real estate investor, throw your hands to the camera. I'm back in the game. It's like a muscle. I got it. So at the summit, with the 100 Millionaire Summit was this weekend. If you missed it, I apologize. At the summit, I had one thing on stage that I had to remember, and that was don't say hands to the camera. And I nailed it for most of the event. There was one moment where I did actually say hands to the camera, and fortunately, I did have a camera behind me, so relatively effective. The muscle of saying that is for engagement. Right. I want to make sure that everybody on the call is being engaged. I want to make sure everybody on the call is learning. And so how I do anything is how I do everything. So I put this memory inside my head that said, if I notice that I've said something interesting, I've said something that might not be easy to understand, I should check. I should check with the room and make sure that they're getting it. When you're in a conversation with somebody, when you're looking to sell something to somebody, a lot of people will just diarrhea the math. Hey, here are all the facts. The house is this much. The house is going to move in 3 days. You got to put an offer in without ever checking with the person. Hey, what are you pre-approved for? What is your desire here? Do you like the house? Are you interested? Who knows that listening is a part of the game in communication? Well, on stage and on Zoom, I do a lot of listening, and that listening comes in the form of watching. It comes in the form of watching the people on the call, watching their intentions, what's going on in their background, what's going on in their, when they're moving. Are they writing? Are they thinking? Are they engaging? Are they typing? Are they chatting? And if I see somebody, their eyes start to glaze over, it looks like this. I know it's time to ask, does that make sense? And get a little engagement. Wake them up. Drop something in the chat. So right now I want you to drop in the chat. What is the most important thing for you this year? What is, and a lot of you were at the summit, so you committed to $1 million goal. Let's give everybody a round of applause who's at the summit. Hell yeah. And I want to know who has their contract already framed. Who took the $1 million contract and already framed it? Excellent. Because I didn't make that suggestion, the rest of the people in the room did not know to do it. Who knows now that they want to go and frame that contract, put it somewhere that they're going to see it, to hold them accountable? Awesome. Awesome. So the contract had something very important on it. It had encouragement. It had, when things get tough, I will do this. It had words along the lines of, if somebody is giving me bad advice or somebody doesn't have the wealth that I'm looking to create, I'm not going to take their advice. How you do anything is how you do everything. Where do you get your advice from? Do you get it from people who have experience, who have accomplished the tasks or goals that you're looking to accomplish? Or are you getting it from people who just want to share their opinions, their fears, their scarcity mindset? And that one asset is it's a keystone habit. Take advice from people who know what they're talking about, and thank people. This is my tool, and you might want to leverage this in your life. When somebody gives me advice, because by the way, it doesn't stop. You could be the person on Facebook giving advice for years. You could be massively successful. And guess what? And you may have noticed this. Somebody's always got an opinion. Somebody always feels like they got to come in and say something to you and be like, hey, yeah, you know what? Crypto's not that good, or it's really dangerous, or real estate's risky. You're gonna have to deal with tenants. And you'd have to just remind them, thank you for sharing. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Don't get into those battles. Don't get into those fights unless it's a soul you're looking to serve. So some people, like we had, who knows Megan Chisholm now? Met her at the summit. Okay. So Megan messaged me because I was making fun of poor people. I was saying, if you're poor, it's because your mindset is poor. You'll always be poor until you make a change. Wealthy people are willing to change their minds on things. They're willing to learn. They're willing to educate themselves. They're willing to take action. And poor people tend to settle for whatever's around them and then complain about it. And she messaged me and said, "That's not fair that you're making fun of poor people. That's evil. That's mean. You're an elitist, and you think you have all these rights, and you shouldn't be treating people like this." Who knows people who would say that in their lives? If you said anything of those comments, yeah. Look, I love all people. I just don't want to hang around poor people. I'm afraid it's contagious. Yeah, I don't want that rubbing off on me. How I do anything is how I do everything. So what she ended up battling with me for about an hour. I took the time to battle back via text message on Facebook, and we battled it out. And I said, "Look, this is where I'm coming from." And she said, "That's wrong. That's elitist." And I said, "Well, this is what makes sense. I've seen this. I've studied and I've trained hundreds of people and thousands of real estate agents. And what I've identified is that some people will move forward because they have a burning desire to move forward. And then some people will just do nothing. They'll be sitting there in the same room. They'll be sitting there in the same conversation and be mad about the facts, be mad that there might be work involved, be mad that might have to learn something, be mad they might have to go out and meet somebody. Who here has ever felt that maybe they were introverted, right? At some point in your life, you're like, "No, I like to just be by myself." If I say that to a broke person, by the way, most poor people, introverts, most of them, there's extroverts. Those are the ones giving you the advice. But most people who are having a lack of success with money are afraid to go talk to people. And so I'll give the advice like, "Hey, look, I'm an introvert, or I was naturally an introvert. I grew up homeschooled. I wasn't surrounded by anybody. And then I went into the field of accounting. So it was just, hey, how can I sit behind a computer and do no communication with anybody?" And it took me years to learn sales. It took me years to learn to extrovert. It took me years to learn how to speak, how to get on social media and influence. And I've been asked, how'd you do it? It's like, dude, I just studied it. I practiced it. I threw myself out there. I have over 10,000 hours. I was doing the math the other day. I'm well over 10,000 hours on creating content. Who knows there's a documented process on that? You could go back and check my Facebook account. There's documentation. So in order to get to be good at extroversion, you have to put yourself into a position of looking like a fool, right? That's the reason we don't extrovert, is because we're afraid of what somebody else might think. We're afraid of what somebody else might say. It's the reason we don't raise capital. How you do anything is how you do everything. I'm going to say that a lot. Who here knows that raising capital is as easy as a conversation with somebody who has money? Yeah, it's that simple. Right? I don't want to complicate it for you. But as a real estate investor, you're going to have to raise capital at some point. You're going to have to request money from somebody else who has it, and do it through enticing them with an amazing deal where they're going to make more money. Because people who have money like to make money. Hands to the camera if you agree that's true. Yes. Hands to the camera if you agree that's you, right? Hell yeah. You want money, you want a return on investment. You want to get the money back. You want security. So how you do anything is how you do everything. If you want to provide security to investors who would invest in your business, and Grant Cardone has a great statement that I love. He says, "My clients are my investors. They're helping me build my business." Right. And I believe that 100%. Everybody who donated, right? I donated to my charity, my cause at the 100 Millionaire Summit. The people who moved into the Alchemist Mastery helped me pay for the marketing to serve more people, to go and reach more people. And that allows me to expand my mission. Now, for you, your business may be the same exact way. The people who are investing in you, the people who are giving you money, they're hoping that you'll continue to serve more people. You'll do better. You'll invest in your tools, your machines, your knowledge, your skills, your systems, so that next time they work with you, you're going to be a better, easier to use vendor or easier to use person. Does that make sense? Right? When they go to Subway with Melanie, they're thinking these sandwiches are going to get better. Right? The sandwiches at least will maintain. They'll at least stay the same. We don't want the sandwiches ever to get bad. We agree? Right? Any business, you would never want anything to go down. So when you're making that investment in the company, you're hoping it gets better every time you show up, at least increments. And it's the same with this trading company. It's the same with our investment business. Who here is an investor? Hands to the camera if you're a real estate investor. Let me riddle me this. Your tenants assume you're paying them rent. You should fix that hallway. You should fix that paint. You should get the lights fixed. Why is it that I'm still, living with 10-year-old carpets? I just paid them rent. Shouldn't I get some sort of investment, some sort of return? Hanson Camp, if you've seen that before, right? Landlords, you know what I'm talking about. Who's the tenant who's thought that? Shit, I paid the landlord. To do the math one day. Hey, I paid the landlord over $8,000 this year. Why am I not getting, they could take a little bit of that and spend it on the scratches in the hallway, couldn't they? Yes, we've seen this. We've thought of this. Yeah. So if you can look at every one of your clients as an investor in your business, it makes it a lot easier to go raise capital later on. It makes it, and what about your employer? Who here still works 9 to 5? Still works 9 to 5. Awesome. Excellent. Thank them. By the way, your employer could be a mentor. You're working with somebody who is paying you to go and work and collect more money. That's a good lesson to learn. That's a good skill to have. So how you do everything goes into this as well. When you're in a job, you're in a training situation. You're able to learn how that company works. You're able to learn how that employer works. You're able to learn how they make money, how they manage. You can see what works, what doesn't work. You can see how you feel internally in those moments. I remember my early jobs, and maybe you can relate to this. Who remembers an early job where you felt like the manager was kind of a dick? Like you felt like they just weren't treating you right, that you weren't getting respected. You weren't getting that information. Who felt like a manager was amazing, right? Who had one of those amazing managers? You're like, man, made me feel special. They paid attention to things that I did. So that knowledge, that information is stuff to remember when they make you feel good, when they reward you, or you're getting some sort of benefit out of being in that job. Memorize those moments, because one day you're going to be an employer. One day you're going to be a coach or a mentor or a leader, sharing things with other people. So you want to make sure you have those skills. Who's heard me say cheers to your success? Who's heard me say that? Cheers. This is something I took in when I was working as an accountant back at Computer Associates over 12 years ago. I remember I sat next to all the VPs. I had a very blessed position. I was the accountant, but all around me were vice presidents of different departments, different categories. And so I'd listen to their conversations. And there was this one guy, and he would always get off the phone. He would say, cheers. And I thought, man, that's unique. Man, that's cool. And I started adding it, not that day, 4 years later, when I became a real estate agent. Cheers was how I hung up the phone. Who sees this? Who's getting that? It can become things later on. I still today, Alchemist University, right? I'm a constant learner. Who's been on Alchemist University? Who's been there, seen the training modules and used them? Awesome. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause, by the way. That's extremely valuable. If you have access to it, you've paid for it at some point, it continues to grow and it continues to become a better asset for you. We don't charge, once you're in, we give lifetime access to everybody. And as we add more modules, we tend to make a lot of them free. Some will be paid, like the summit will be paid for anybody who wasn't at the summit. Is that fair? If they weren't at the summit, they should probably pay to get some access. I agree. But a lot of the stuff I put out, the training stuff that I'm asked questions, that's free. Because I think it's the right thing to do. I think that if you've paid and you're in here, then you should be continuing to gain your knowledge. That came from Walmart. My first corporate job was something that I learned from sitting in the seat when I was 18 years old, and they put me on a computer and I'd have to learn how to greet customers. I had to learn the culture of Walmart. I had to learn respect for the individual. By the way, who knows, I always have respect for the individual. That's my main mission. The person in front of me should feel like they're the most special person in the world. And if I mess that up, that's internal. I know I messed up because I'll see it in their eyes. I'll see it in the reaction or the words that they say. I learned that at Walmart, constant learner. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you're constantly in the seeking of education, seeking of improvement of yourself and learning and becoming better, you will, no matter what situation, become a better human being. I've been on bus stops and seen somebody treat somebody with respect and thought, wow, next time I see that situation, I want to do that. I want to be the one who walks the little old lady across the street. Who's felt that or seen that, learned something from somebody else in a situation? Awesome. You're gaining at any point in life the most valuable lessons if you can pay attention to them. If you can look and you can open your mind, you can apply these to your business. You can apply this to your investment strategies. You can apply this to your real estate. You can apply it to your main business, your relationships, everything. Who knows that how you do everything is also a tell? Who knows it's also a tell? Okay, let me explain what that means. A tell is something that gives you a clue, right? If somebody doesn't make their bed in the morning, maybe they may not do that in their business as well, right? And I don't make my bed in the morning. Half the time I don't even sleep in my bed. Sometimes I just go and rest on the couch, take a 20-minute nap or an hour, 2-hour nap, and then I'm back in the game. What does that say about me in business? Maybe it says that I don't take the time to go back and do the back end stuff that will make things a little easier in the future. So I identified that about myself. Maybe who else notices that that's a thing that they do? They may go out and they use the bed. Hell yeah, they use the heck out of it. But sometimes going back and cleaning up things or fixing things ends up, not happening. So what's a solution? Well, in my business, I brought in other people who are good at making the bed. Right? Ron has a principle. He says, I make the bed for future Ron. He says, I'm thinking about future me. And so when I get to the bed, I'm now thinking about past me saying thank you. Do you see how cool this is? Right? And the way he put it just has been fascinating. It's had such an impact across the rest of my life and everything that I do. When I'm doing my social media, who knows that it takes time to put out as much as I put out. I consume probably 30 minutes a day, and that's mostly just responding to people. But the creation of content is anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a day. And it is intense, and it's a full-time job, but I have fun with it. I really enjoy the process. And I'm doing things and setting things up and lining things up in assets, my hashtags, my comment phrases that I'll say commonly, or ideas that I know are content value stacks, like that people were going to use later on. Like, who knows the 70% rule? 70% rule in real estate. Who's heard me talk about wealth stacking? What you should buy first. Who's heard me talk a little bit about crypto, the differences between gold, crypto, stocks? Absolutely. These are topics that are always going to be interesting to people. So I have a list, so I don't have to remember it. This way, when future Walter gets to doing a video, he can thank past Walter for having built that asset for him. Is that cool? So building those assets and then hiring people. I'm bringing on a lot of people right now to expand the mission, to serve more, to help more. That comes from knowing that I'm not the guy to go back and maybe clean up to make the bed. I realized a long time ago, but the bed's made every day. Do you know why? Darina makes the bed. Fantastic team, right? She's usually in there a little longer than I am, and she makes the bed for us. And at the end of the day, if I'm the last one in the bed, I'll walk into the bedroom, and at some point, she's made the bed. You know what I think? Thank God for past Darina, right? Wow, she cares about future present Walter, who's here looking at this bed, and I get a smile. I'm like, wow, this is cool. The team is working. She's crushing this one domestic task, and I know she feels the same way when I wash the dishes, right? And I don't like to wash this. Hand the camera if you know that's a thing against me. Yeah, but if she's gonna make them and they're gonna sit in the sink, and I'm happen to be there and I'm listening to an audiobook, I don't mind. It's like whatever. Just turn the faucet on, scrub it out, get it done, because I know the value of when she sees it later. Again, how you do anything is how you do everything. If I was living alone, there'd be no dishes, it'd be paper plates, plastic forks, and I'd be going through life taking out the trash once a week. Does that make sense? All right, so we're having fun with this. Let's dive into the business. I think that this is a key point to pull out a pen and paper if you have a chance. I want you to write down the moments in your business that you have been most proud of. Just 1 or 2 moments in your business that you have been most proud of. For me, an example would be when I lock in a contract, when I put something under agreement, when I make a call for somebody and I have a conversation with them about raising capital. And I don't mean like if the person doesn't say yes, I'm still excited about having made that call. Like that's still a win to me, having had the guts to call and find out what they're looking for and see if they had value. And if they do say yes and we move forward with a deal together, I'm also excited about that. Like that's a win. Those have been my most pivotal moments, was conversations, putting on offers, lining up the money, putting on offers, lining up the money, and then lining up the property manager. Hands to the camera if you recognize that those are powerful moments. Well, how you do anything, how you do everything comes to this. Are you a person who can identify the highest leverage point in your life? Are you the person who can identify it and then do something about it? Not sit there and say, I should call them. I should put an offer in. I should call and get a property manager. I should get 3 quotes instead of just 1 quote and do that research. These are assets in your business. So who has something written down? Everybody has something written down, 2 things that you've done really well that have moved you forward. Awesome. Now I want you to write down underneath it 2 things that have not served you well. 2 things that have, and it doesn't have to be in your business. It could be in your physical fitness. It could be in your relationships. 2 things that have not served you well. And this could be not listening to people. It could be not showing up to the gym. It could be not eating properly, right? Whenever you drink that second or third glass of alcohol, you're thinking, this probably wasn't a good idea tomorrow, right? Tomorrow you is thinking, shit, why did I do that? But yesterday you was thinking just in the moment, not thinking about the future. Hands to the camera if you've ever done that before. You know what that's like. Yeah, we've all done that. So writing these 2 or 3 things down that have not served you, have not taken care of you, we can identify where that shows up in your business, in other places. Hands to the camera if you're seeing the correlation already in your head. You're already seeing how this relates. Awesome. We got a smart group. Well, clients do the same thing. Our clients do the same thing. And for many of us, our clients are our sellers. They're motivated sellers. And by show of hands, who knows that clients are the motivated, our sellers are the motivated, let me say this right. Sellers are our clients. Hands to the camera if that's true for you. Awesome. And what about agents? Our agents are clients, real estate agents. Yes, they bring us deals. What about wholesalers? Our wholesalers are clients. Yes, absolutely. We got to serve them. So agents and wholesalers are my clients. I serve them so that they can bring me the deal. Now, what about tenants? Where do tenants stand? Anybody, tenants are clients? Wrong. See this? Aha! I don't want to mess with you too much, but tenants are employees. Tenants are people who work for us. And this is how you know. They go out, they collect money, they come back, they keep some of it, and they give you the rest. Megan, does that connection make sense now? So you want to develop your employees. You want to develop your tenants so that they work with you better. You also want to develop your clients. And by paying attention to them, you can learn a lot from what they're likely to do next month. So how they do anything is how they do everything. A tenant who has a messy apartment, who is late on rent, will continue to be messy and have a late rent payment. Is that true? Continues. Well, I bet you they're also doing that at work. I bet you they're also doing that in their relationship. And so they become a little bit of a hassle down the road, that because of these bad habits that they've acquired. How can you identify a good tenant? How can you identify a good wholesaler or a good real estate agent? Or if a motivated seller is likely to be motivated? Who'd like to find out what some of the tells are on a motivated seller? Excellent. Awesome. Full room. So a motivated seller is typically someone who doesn't make fast decisions. They're typically someone who procrastinates on decision making, which is why they're motivated now, because they've got a situation that's occurred in their life and they weren't prepared for it. They typically don't prepare for things. They typically are not a very motivated person, and they typically are not thinking about the future. They're usually in the moment or in the past. They're living in the past. So when you pick up the phone, you're talking to somebody and their immediate story is somewhere in the past. There's a good chance, and it's a story of pain. They tend to be negative. I don't know that I've ever worked with a motivated seller that was positive. I mean, they were nice. They were all nice, but their mindset was constantly in scarcity, constantly in fear, constantly in lack. So when you're having these conversations and you're hearing a little bit of that fear, lack, scarcity, that's a tell. That's something that can give you a little bit of a guide into what the future looks like. Is this making sense? Fear, lack, scarcity, a messy house, not being on time for an appointment, right? Not showing up to an appointment on time is a sign that the person could be motivated. Now, if they're a fast talker and they're a business person, that's totally different. But if they're like procrastinating on the meeting, if they're procrastinating on getting to meeting with you, if they're scared about meeting you in person, Most investors think, oh, this person's not serious. Hence the camera if you've ever felt that way. Person's not serious. They're not showing up for appointments. They're scared. They're nervous. They're asking you about COVID. These are actually tells of a motivated seller. A lot of investors will back off when they're getting those objections. But the truth is that this is somebody who most likely is going to work with you. They probably need you. And you're going to have to handle some of those barriers, some of those objections by moving forward and proving to them that you're safe, proving to them that you are okay with a little bit of a delay, not just getting frustrated and leaving, and or just being like, oh, you know what, they didn't show up. I'm not going to schedule another call or another appointment. Schedule it again. Show up. Be consistent. If they're not responding back to you, right? This is another sign of a motivated seller. They're not responding back to your text. They're not responding back to your calls. This is a sign that somebody is afraid of having this conversation because they're afraid of a decision. Who knows? Indecisive people tend to sell their real estate at a discount. Yeah. So a lot of times we will give up when there's an opportunity to move forward, because if they're doing it to us, they're doing it to other people. This is a door knock situation. Get out there, show up, get somebody at the door, call your agent or call your wholesaler, send them out. But this is the point where it's time to push. How you do anything is how you do everything. Do you just give up when it's hard? Do you just give up when somebody gives you an excuse? Or do you see that excuse as an opportunity? Do you see some of those challenges as, wow, look, this is a barrier to entry. Barrier to entry, write this down. I get excited. This is an affirmation I use. I get excited when I see a barrier to entry. I get excited when I see things get difficult. When a situation or scenario gets hard, I think this one thought, I bet it's hard for everybody else. In fact, the harder it is, the less people on this road, which means the more chance I'll be the one who gets the win. If there's less people on this road, I want to be on this road, assuming the road goes somewhere. If the road comes to an end, it's time to turn around quickly and get off the road to a better path. But assuming that this is the right road and you know you want to be an investor and you know you want to acquire more property, then not having other people there, having those barriers means you've just got to learn a skill. Exciting. We were talking to Sandra this morning about left hand, right hand, and she was mentioning to me that, my right hand is so talented. I can't sculpt if it gets tired. And we were messing around a little bit. And I said, well, I trained my left hand when I broke my right hand. So I had to. And she has actually trained her. Well, actually, she's left-handed. So she's trained her weaker hand on some things. What if you saw opportunities when things got tough? What if you saw a learning opportunity as an exciting piece, as a challenge, as one more asset to acquire, one more thing that's going to make you the person who can take this type of deal down all the time, where everybody else is scared to get into those deals? You're saying, yes, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to change, an opportunity to be better. And I'm not saying seek out all difficult things. I want to be very clear. Seek out right difficult things. If they are the right thing on the path you're going for, seek it out. When I give this talk, I remember who I was in 2015, and I would just do everything that was hard. Hands to the camera if you've ever been that person. If there was a challenge, if it was difficult, you're like, yeah, sign me up. Give me the hard stuff. Let me grind. I'm a grinder. Grinders are something that Melanie sells at Subway. They're not something you want to be all the time. Remember, they get eaten at some point. So the grind, the grind is important for the right path. You want to have that in you still, where you could grind through it, learn it, educate yourself, practice, look like a fool. Because at the end, you're going in the right direction. It's totally worth those barriers to entry. Not all barriers or challenges are created equal. Write that down. Not all barriers or challenges are created equal. There are some things that will just be a barrier for the sake of being a barrier. Some relationships, some friends that you may have to remove from your life are just going to always be negative, always be pushing you down, always taking you out of the game. There are some strategies in business that will just never work. There are some businesses that are just not scalable. If it can't make $1 million one day, or somebody's not making $1 million doing it, don't get into it. If there's somebody making $1 million, then possibly you could be one of those people making $1 million. There's a better chance. But if nobody's making $1 million in the business, 5 years from now, that would be a regret to have gotten into it. Does that make sense? Awesome. Excellent. Now, perceived barriers to entry it's all up here. right? It's all up here based on your knowledge, based on your skills. When I sat in the room in 2015, I thought I have no skills on stage. I have no ability to serve people in the way that the gentleman on stage was serving me at that moment, where he changed my life, helped me make my first 100,000. I knew though that I could learn anything. I knew that I could learn anything, and he on stage was somebody I could learn from. Now, I didn't sign up with his coaching program for another 6 years. I just signed up with him this year, and it cost me tens of thousands of dollars. But who was at the summit? Who was at the 100 Millionaire Summit this year? Who saw Dennis Cummins on stage speaking? Yeah. In 2015, I made a commitment to myself. I said, one day I'm going to coach with him. I couldn't afford his $5,000 program at the time, and I knew it would be more expensive. In fact, he told me it would be more expensive. He said, as I continue, as I get 10 people in my program, I double the price. I double the price. I double the price every time I get 10 people in my program. And I looked and I was like, man, like I better be successful fast, because at some point that's going to be a stupendous amount of money. And I want to have that speed to be able to get on stage. I want to have that skill to serve and build emotions. And I set another commitment. I said, one day I'm going to share the stage with him. 2021 took me 6 years, but I shared the stage with the guy who changed my life. How cool is that? What we think about, we bring about. What you desire becomes your reality. How you do anything is how you do everything. My one success skill, if I could share one with you, is that no matter what, if it's something I see somebody else doing, I instantly am aware that that could be me. If I see somebody else doing it, if I see somebody else crushing it, I am instantly, it's just an awareness that I know. And when I see the barriers, if I want it bad enough, I think of those as exciting skills that are moving me towards progression, moving me towards where I want to go. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you can look at life this way, if you can look at the things that other people are doing that you truly, genuinely want, and you say, yes, if they're doing it, oh, like, thank God. I bless successful people in their marriages. I bless successful people in their wealth. I bless successful people in their health, in their traveling, in the lifestyle they're living, because I see it, and that means it's possible for me too. Does that make sense? If it's possible for me, then it's possible for you. Remember, you know my story. I wrote the book Broke to $250,000. I didn't come into this world with all the gifts or the talents. I was quite the disadvantage. Even the name of the band, when I was playing in the band on stages, we were called Misborn, born to a life of misfortune, right? It was literally my belief system. Who knows? That's a detrimental belief system when you think that everything was gonna be, a challenge. Life is easy. Life is easy if you choose, when you choose what you want to create for yourself, model the people who have it. So there's a book called Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, and he says, focus on the best, surround yourself with the best, and you'll become the best. I'll say that again for you. Focus on the best, surround yourself with the best, and you'll become the best. And it only works if you focus on the best. What you focus on, you get more of. What you think about, you bring about. And what you track, you get, what you think about, you bring about. Focus on expands, what you track, you get more of. But we'll say that the right way. All those cliches. Actually, Dennis is always making fun of me for throwing too many out there. Hands to the camera if you know repetition is how you're memorizing these. I throw them out because I want you to memorize them. It's important to me for you to be successful. So I don't have the book on, I have it on my shelf back there, but I don't know where it is. But Mike Shine, I know you've got the book of the week. Who saw Mike Shine's presentation on partnerships? Who thought that was absolutely valuable? Huge value at the summit. Awesome. Michael Shine, the keeper of the books, the Lord of words and pages. Mike, can you represent the book this week?
Yeah, so the book of the week is The Compound Effect, and it's a great book. It's really teaches you about, Walter was saying with how you do anything's how you do everything, because if you have little habits that you do every single day, those habits add up. And my favorite part of this book, I think I talked about this last year when I did this book, was the three guys. It's in the beginning, but it's Larry, Scott, and Brad. And Larry does nothing, doesn't change anything in his life. And Scott makes some changes, like starts reading 10 pages a day. He, starts listening to inspirational um, uh, uh, presentations while he's driving to work. And Brad makes a few poor choices. Like he gets a big screen TV and he starts making cheesy casseroles and desserts, and puts a bar in his basement. And all these little subtle changes after five months don't look like anything, but he says, but it says in the end, the phenomenal power of the compound effect is that simple. The difference between people who employ the compound effect for their benefit compared to their peers who allow the same effect to work against them is almost inconceivable. It looks miraculous, like magic or quantum leaps. After 31 months or 31 years, the person who uses the positive nature of the compound effect appears to be an quote unquote overnight success. In reality, his or her profound success was the result of small, smart choices completed consistently over time. So yeah, this is an amazing book. Walter and I were on like a mastermind the other day, and the guy who was speaking, he was amazing. He pointed out that, that story that we've all heard. If you take a penny and you double that penny every day for 30 days, you get, don't quote me on these numbers, but you end up with $5 million, right? But this is the part I had never heard before. He said, do you know what happens if you skip a day? So if you have a penny and double it and skip a day and then double it the next, you end up with $163. So that's the power of the compound effect, is compounding, daily practice, doing the things, what you do, how you do anything is how you do everything. Do it every day, crush it, compound effect, great book. Thank you.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. Mike, I was actually had every intention yesterday. I wrote it down that I wanted to share that story today. So awesome job, man. No, it's perfect. It's perfect because it explains exactly why we double, right? I tell you each year, we're going to double your income. We're going to double your net worth. We're going to double your skills, your communication skills, your network, the people that you're working with, the coaches that you have. We want to double the value. We want to double the increase of what we're doing. Hands to the camera if you're on the mission to double your income this year, 2022. We're going to double it. Hell yeah. And double our net worth. Double our net worth. When you do both, your life absolutely levels up every single year. The mentorship was designed as a jump start to get you back into that strategy, to get you into this increasing of income, increasing of net worth. Hands to the camera if you found value in the mentorship, have been in it, and have been getting a ton of value from it. Awesome. Hands to the camera if you know you were at the summit, sign up for Alchemist Mastery. We are throwing you into the 8-week jump start anyway to make sure that you've started and pump it in the same way our mentorship members are. Awesome. If you haven't had an opportunity to get into the mentorship, I apologize. It's not my fault. Actually, it could be. Maybe this is the first time you're seeing me, and in which case that is my fault. It is my duty to get out there and be seen, to have more people know about what we're doing. So if you're the first time you're hearing about it, the mentorship is an 8-week program. We meet every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and we go through a process to make sure that you're being held accountable to celebrating 3 wins. And then one thing, such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary for the week, so you can build an asset. We also bring some knowledge. There's some training modules we require each week, and we make sure that you're doing your net worth tracker. Who's found the net worth tracker to be extremely valuable in building their net worth? Yes. And I see the people doing it are the people who have the highest net worths, which is amazing. The more you track, the more you get more of. And you could think that you could do this by yourself, but here's the truth. If you could have, you would have. If what you have been doing was doubling your income, you would have been doubled by now. Hands to camera if that's true too, right? It's like, why not go in and learn a process? So if you're interested in learning more about the mentorship, Darina will drop her Calendly link here and on Facebook. Just schedule a call. It's about 15 minutes. She'll let you know what it looks like. She'll also listen to you in your situation and identify if this is the right program for you. We've had people come and have these conversations, and we've had to turn them away because they don't actually want wealth. They just wanted to have a call. They just want to say and talk about wealth. They want to talk about making more money. But earning and increasing income takes time. Who knows? I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires. Who's seen this cut before? Yes, I had it on stage all weekend as well. The mission is not just build 100 millionaires. And I was talking to Dorina yesterday, and I had this strange epiphany. I told her the mission's no longer mine. It's not my mission. It's now a destiny for over 100 people to go out and inspire others to be successful, to inspire others to be rich. I'm asked often, what can I do to serve you? Well, it depends. Where are you at? Where are you at in life? Have you found it for yourself? If you haven't, that's the most important thing that you can do, is go and find that success. Sign up for programs, take the actions, get uncomfortable, call people, talk to people, and be a little like willing to learn, be willing to grow, be willing to see a barrier and say, yes, a challenge, an opportunity. This is me getting to the next level. Who knows, this weekend you took on the challenge to build 100 millionaires. Who felt that? Yes. And so I proudly share the mission with over 100 people who have committed to building 100 millionaires. Doesn't mean you do it in a year. That's my unrealistic goal, but do it. Build one out a year, build one at a time. Even if you build one in your lifetime, who knows, that has a positive impact on the world. We've got people on the call right now who are building charities, who are building foundations, who are going to require intelligent people who've built businesses, who have networks, to go and serve their foundations, to serve their causes. They're going to require money, funds. Fortunately, they're building their own $1 million businesses to fund those organizations, but $1 million doesn't go very far. What about 100 million? What if there was millions of people who are interested in serving? Hands to the camera if you know we can make a difference. We can absolutely make massive change. And it starts with earning some money, earning some knowledge so that you can earn the money, getting past the blueprint stuff that's happening up here, the stuff that's slowing us down, and moving towards accepting like who you really are, which is a massively abundant person who's capable of growth, who's capable of exploding growth for other people. Who found this week's lesson to be profound, found it to be valuable? Who knows they're going to walk powerfully through the rest of this week, leveraging the power of how you do anything is how you do everything. Excellent. Who knows they're changing at least one habit this week? They're looking for something to change, something to improve. Awesome. Very intelligent group. You've got a lot of opportunity ahead of you. This world is changing. It's changing rapidly. It's changing quickly. There are opportunities coming. There are challenges coming. There are things that are going to throw people into a tailspin. And there are things that are going to make millionaires. Ironically, they're the same exact thing. It's all about how you look at it, how well prepared you are for it, and what actions you're willing to take when the time comes down to it, when the rubber meets the road. Who wants to hear from the coaches? Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Let's go to the coaches. And well, my screen froze, but Dorina, can you start us off?
Absolutely. Yes, powerful lesson. I think first time I heard it 4 years ago when actually Walter and I met at Secrets to the Millionaire Mind. How you do anything is how you do everything. And at first you're like, okay, like no big deal. I don't really get it. But then you start seeing this showing up in your life. How you're supposed to keep a promise, building or doubling your income if you can get up out of bed on time where you promised yourself the night before. If you can keep with small commitments, how you're supposed to do big commitments. So start paying attention to where you promise yourself to do something in the morning, at night, not to eat certain foods or work out or make consistent phone calls. If you're not keeping up with promises to yourself, then how are you supposed to do bigger things and promise to someone else? So it's about consistency. It's about how it's showing up in very little details, very tiny details throughout the day. And if you start noticing, you can start changing those small things, then you will have a compound effect on bigger things and promises, not only to yourself, but to others. So that's my biggest takeaway. And I'm going to actually make a couple of adjustments myself. Woo.
Let's give Dorina a round of applause. And I know I get in trouble if my eyes leave the camera.
Thank you. You did really good.
I did, except all of my screens went over to the other side because this monitor shut down. So I knew I had to make a quick glance. You know what? If your spouse gives you feedback, we should take it. Fair to say. So I know when Darina gives her speech, she's watching me to see if she's saying something right or if she should be making an adjustment. Who knows that when you speak, you should be paying attention to the people around you. Are they listening? Does it make sense? Are they getting it? Awesome. Excellent. And here's something I'll say to each one of you, because I believe each one of you has the capacity and the desire to be an influencer at some point. And even if you don't, people are watching you. Just be aware that you might be the person who's supporting somebody else. I had no clue Darina was watching me during these. I thought she was watching you like I do. I watch everybody in the room. And when she not messaged me, she straight up told me right after a call, she's like, hey, I see you're texting. And I had to tell her, I was like, no, babe, I'm sharing this out. I'm sharing this out with other people. I'm going on Facebook and I'm setting the share. And she said, yeah, but I'm watching you. And if I see your eyes down, I think I lose confidence. Who knows that somebody in your life may be watching you right now, right? The things that you're doing. And if you're not paying attention to them, they may lose confidence. So just know that there are some very important people in your life that are watching you. And they may be looking to you for a little bit of attention, for a little bit of reassurance, for a little bit of confidence. Hence the camera if you commit to being a little bit more aware of those eyeballs. Excellent. Excellent. And I totally forgot to record that. So, Darina, I'm going to ask you to do a Facebook Live on that later. Can you commit to this?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. And for everybody on the call, I want to
Okay.
ask you to do a Facebook Live on what how you do anything, how you do everything means to you. Share it with your friends on Facebook. Go live. It's going to make you uncomfortable. Awesome. Good. Barrier. It's something that's going to change you. It will make you better. And it will let more people know about who you are and what you're doing. You'll get more eyes on you. So go, and I strongly suggest this every week. I forget to mention it, but go and do after each one of these calls, take the principle, own the principle. You just learned for about 30 minutes how it works and share it with your community. Share it with the people who are your friends and let them know what how you do anything is how you do everything means to you. This is Wealth Principle 39. Share it with somebody. Share it with a lot of people. Next up, let's do Terry Wager.
You know, I like this. There's another book, The Way You Do Anything is the Way You Do Everything. My coach, Suzanne Evans, wrote the book, and it's a phenomenal book, really targeting this principle specifically. And so I suggest reading that. The thing I think about, Walter was talking about investing, and when I think about how you do everything is how you do, or how you do anything is how you do everything, I think about saying yes. And the idea is so many people have been habitually saying no to themselves and to opportunities and to anything in the world. It's automatic. You know, you ask somebody something, the first thing they think of habitually is no. And then they have to think themselves or think about, weigh the options for yes. So when I think about investing, the first thing that you want to invest in is yourself. And so as I'm looking at that, when I invested in my coaching, I was investing in my business and I was investing in my coach's business to help other people and to help me move forward. And so every dollar I spend in coaching is investing in two businesses at one time. It's compound effect kind of idea. The next part that I think about is as I invest in other people's things, invest my time, invest my energy, I build partners. And so when I'm thinking about how you do anything is how you do everything, I think about yes is the number one thing I want to start doing everywhere. And so what are you saying no to? What are you depriving yourself of? What are you depriving other people of by stepping away from the interaction? When we start to say yes, our whole world opens up. And so think about that as you go through. A second little piece that I want to really identify, and it's a bone that I pick as much as I can. There are huge numbers of books out there about habits. And I keep hearing about habit. Oh, it's a habit to talk about habits. Now, the thing is habits always move us to comfort. And so I want to put this idea, I want to burn it into your brains that there's a difference between routines and habits. Anybody who works out, any of the gymnasts, any of the Olympic athletes, they get into routines to train themselves moving forward. And the habits are what they're trying to get rid of in using their routines. So I want really people to start thinking about that, as routine is moving us forward towards our goal. Habit is really moving us around a comfort. And whenever we're moving towards comfort, we're saying no. So start saying yes and start using routines, because that is going to move you forward way faster.
Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. Who was at the summit and got to enjoy some of Dr. Terry Wager's training on goals? Awesome. Who sat down, had a momentum call with Terry, got to learn a little bit about the program, what we were doing? Awesome. Excellent. And I know he was successful because many people moved forward, because Terry's good at finding and identifying a path for people. So here's something that Terry was just talking about. Yes and no. Now, to get to a level of success and to hit a routine and to change some of those habits, you suddenly have to say no to things that you've been saying yes to. And that change makes a big difference. So when we say yes to more opportunities, let me give you the example. As I became more successful, it was because I started saying no to things I used to say yes to. And I started saying yes to things that I used to say no to. And the more successful I've become, the more audience I have, the more people in the community, the more I've had to go back and reevaluate what I say no to. Because in the past, I would always say no to partnerships. I would say no to coaching, right? Because I knew that at that time, it would take too much time from me. It wasn't the right thing. At the summit, I was offered a lot of opportunities to coach with people, to take people into our partnerships. And I'm still selective, but I said yes a couple more times. Does that make sense? So you're going to have to adjust. For some time, some things may have to be no's. And for sometimes, some things that you normally wouldn't like are going to have to be yeses. And down the road, you can reevaluate. Depending on where your goals are, you can reevaluate. Who's committing to saying yes to the right things and no to the wrong things? And yes to the routine that will lead you to where you want to go, and no to the habits that will lead you back to your comfort zone. The habits that lead back to the comfort zone are no. The routine that leads you to where you want to go, to your goals, to the better life, to the better relationships, to the better health, to the better business, those you say yes, absolutely. And yes may be uncomfortable at first, but I want you to learn to get excited about it, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Mitch Jorsky, the crypto cat, you're up.
I hope no one was watching me in the last 20 minutes of this call, because you might have seen anger, because how you do everything, right? Or how you do anything is how you do everything. And when you fall off that wagon, oftentimes you regret it. Hence the text message that had me steaming out of my ears during this call, because I treated a tenant differently. Treat your real estate business as that, a business. So you give people the benefit of the doubt and then you regret it. And that's not to say you shouldn't, be good to people, but you still need to treat it like a business, hence the trust but verify. So it's like, sweet. Yeah, you're a cool guy and you don't seem to be a problem. The other tenants are the problem. We'll focus on them. You know what you need to do. You just, get out of here by X date. And here we are, still not gone, and talking about apartments that he's looking at he doesn't like. And I want to be like, well, it's better than being homeless. But you don't say that because that's mean. So, case in point, I will be filing for eviction on Monday, because I already gave the 30-day notice, which I gave 30 days after I should have, because giving him the benefit of the doubt. And what did I do? I didn't, how I do anything, I do everything. I skipped it for this person. And that goes back to trust but verify. So you can be good to people, but that doesn't mean you still shouldn't be running your business by the books. And I don't know. That's just me venting and I guess turning it into a lesson. The lesson was going to be that like we mentioned the net worth tracker, we mentioned like even routine. So like me in particular, like me and routine are not friends, which probably isn't a good statement to say, but we're not. Like I like living very spontaneous. Each day is a little different, but I know there's a cost to that. And there's some stuff that I've turned into a routine because you will have more success with whatever word you want to use, habits, routine, whatever the F it is. The bottom line is, though, these things lead to success. There's a reason like the Miracle Morning, has created success for people. As much as I know I'm never going to do the Miracle Morning, I might do Miracle Midnight, which still seems like a book I should write, but you need these things in your life, right? So you can have success, I feel like, in anything in life to an extent. But if you want to level up, you need to embrace that. Like how you do anything is how you do everything. And a big part of that is having in, routines and or habits or whatever word you want to use that push you forward because it's giving you that regular progress. And case in point, net worth tracker as an example. I didn't look at the net worth tracker for 7 months. Yes, I'm sharing this confession. And I just did it like a month ago. I'd done it. I'm about to do it again at the end of this month. And what I noticed is over that 7 months, my net worth barely moved. I had this progress that was kicking ass, like 2019, 2020, early 2021. And then all of a sudden, barely moved. And I was like, that's creepy, kind of scary. Like, there's no way that's got to be a coincidence. But again, when you pay attention to it, you have your eye on the prize, you keep that momentum. And when you're not paying attention anymore, you lose that momentum, right? And it goes back to the compounding effect. Momentum is something that fits into that compounding by keeping that momentum. So like when you take your eye off the goal, you take your eye off the prize, you sort of lose the momentum. So keep that routine. And at this point, I will stop babbling.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. Is Ryan McDermott still on the call, or do you have to go to a soccer game? Did anybody see him jump out?
He went to a soccer game.
All right. I should have started with Ryan just in case. Next time I will.
I think Doug McGurk. Before that.
I was long before that?
Yeah, you're
I don't
good.
feel as bad then. Doug McGurk.
Right on. The Maximizer. So, wow, so much to unpack here. Everyone is so brilliant. One of the things that maybe a hack would be helpful, right? Because to Terry's point, again, where Mitch pointed out, there could be some semantics here. It's really a relationship with that word, right? So if you want to call a habit a good thing, that's fine too. We don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. Whether it's routine, ritual, system, all of that. But a couple of things. One, how many of y'all who did go to the summit felt like motivated, felt like, on top of the world, you were unstoppable and all that? How many of y'all felt great? Like, you're like, holy crap, I feel incredible. I'm just feeling the love and all of that. And then we come back home and the drift sets in. Some of those old habits, routines, ritual, whatever it is. And to Terry's point, we just want to watch, are these behaviors, are these patterns, are we doing it for like comfort, distraction? Is it taking us further from our goals or taking us closer to them? Now, one of the hacks that you and I can implement, and you're doing it now, is, so you went to the event and that's incredible. You invested in yourself, your time and energy, and you're feeling on top of the world. And you made decisions and you were taking action. How many of y'all took more action at the summit than you did on a regular basis? How many made more calls, met more people, felt more inspired, took more notes, all of that, right? Because you were feeling awesome. One of the challenges that you and I face when we are looking to create new rituals, new routines, new patterns is if our relationship with those patterns, if we're feeling negative about them, if we're feeling frustrated about them, if we're feeling anything non-resourceful around them, then we start going, ugh, Now we start attaching negative emotions to it, and we're fueling. If you remember the day we started, we talked about the emotional fuel. We're now filling ourselves with emotional fuel as we are doing the new pattern, but we're doing it with crap fuel, and then we're not able to maintain that momentum. So that's why it's so important and valuable that you're part of this process. You're on the calls. You've got the support to keep us going. And then the how you do anything, how you do everything mindset of imagine the Michael Jackson, always feel like someone's watching me. If we're behaving the way we would as if we're being watched all the time, if we're, one of the benefits I think of doing all your social media stuff is it creates a natural accountability anyway, because you're declaring it and now people are holding you to that standard. But even if you were not necessarily ready to do that now, you could also be able to think in terms of imagining people were watching. So what behaviors, what patterns, what routines, what rituals, whatever it is you want to start incorporating. To Darina's point, start small. Don't try and eat the elephant in one bite. And do it in a way, get yourself in a positive, resourceful, excited, grateful, proud, whatever any of those states are that are going to keep you moving forward, that it rewards you real time. Because, without getting too, there's a whole other rabbit hole. We've got these 4 kind of ways we behave: something that feels good and is good for us, something that doesn't feel good but is good for us, something that feels good but is not good for us, so we get that dopamine rush, and then something that doesn't feel good and is not feeling good, or is not good. And Oreos and beer would be the feels good but not good for us. But our brain goes, aha, that felt good. So it wants to do more of it. So the way you hack your brain, you hack your mind, is to get yourself into a powerful, resourceful, confident, grateful state as you take those actions and reward yourself real time. And then what'll happen is your brain will then start going, let's do more of that. And then you'll get the long-term benefit as well. And that's all I have to say about that.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. It's like getting back to the summit, isn't it? So powerful. And what Doug said is so true. Take actions, take the right actions now. And learn how to communicate better and be willing to get into that discomfort zone and get really, really comfortable living there. When things are uncomfortable, man, that I'm at my happiest. And I've seen it in Ron when we're in our business meetings, when the shit hits the fan, the proverbial shit hits the fan, Ron gets a little nervous and I'm like, yeah, man, like new challenge. I have no idea how to raise $1 million. Let's go get it. And those experiences got better over time. It started with 26,000, how to raise 26,000. Then it was how to raise 200,000. Then it was how to raise 300,000. Then it was raise $1 million. Who knows that it starts with incremental steps of discomfort. And it probably at some point was how to raise $5, right? Y'all did it as a kid and we just maybe stopped at a certain point. So you can continue to find the resources that you require to move yourself forward. Who else do I have on here? Ron, you want to go?
No.
There it is. He's already saying no to the right stuff. Patrick Sullivan, go ahead, brother. And then we'll go with Mike.
I was unfortunately gone for most of the call, so I missed the majority of what you guys talked about today.
Well, you look great. Love seeing the shiny brother. How you do anything is how you do everything. What would that mean to you?
I mean, it's always just living your life and doing the things that you want to do and realizing that you don't necessarily have to do them the way everyone else does them. So little things and tics that people have. If people hang around me a lot, they'll notice I do a lot of things really, really weirdly, and it's always very repetitive and stupid things. And some people start doing them. Like if I ever go to a Wendy's or something and I get a drink, I don't ever take the cup on top. I take that one off. I take the next one. I put that cup back because the top cup's disgusting. And it's dumb things like that, that it's a repetitive action that to me, it makes sense and it works better. And it's the same thing in business and how I look at things and how I analyze stuff. And it's those same little ticks of things that I have decided are 1% better, because not everything you do has to be a monumental increase and to make things better. It doesn't have to be this glaring night and day. If you make everything in your life 1% better, then everything will be a lot better.
Let's give Patrick Sullivan a round of applause. I might start doing that with the cup at Wendy's now.
It's disgusting. I don't know why everyone doesn't do it.
I do
Michael Shine,
See?
it. Yep.
you're up. Do you do it too, Doug?
Not only that, if I take a lid, I put it bottom down, not top down, because the part you put your lips on, if you lay that on the counter the other way, you've just contaminated it. But if you put the top, like the bottom part ring down, that's something that never touches really anything. So,
Do the same thing.
yeah. There are some OCD people in here. This is awesome.
You're noticing a pattern of the coaches.
OCD is a sign
Except
of
Walter.
success. It's when you
Yeah.
control the OCD, you're going to
Yeah.
do well. When
Mhm.
it controls you, you're in hell.
Yeah. And I actually have a really good motivation thing that I want to show everybody, but I don't want to do it on Facebook, which will make sense why after. So I'll tell everyone later.
Sounds good, brother. Michael
Stay tuned.
Shine, you're up.
I take the top cup, I put the lid right on the counter and I say, "Ah, fuck it." I've got great immunity and I'm happy about that.
Abundance of
Abundance.
germs mentality.
Yeah. So Walter, when you asked us what this meant, I don't know if this is going to be a lesson or not, but I immediately went to the fact that I'm a long-term investor, that I invest over the long term in every area of my life. I've been with my wife for 20 years. I invest in stocks and I don't ever sell them. I buy real estate to hold. I don't. And so how you do anything is how you do everything. Everything I do long term. So a lot of times people say, "Hey, you want to do a flip with me?" And I've done them, but it's not my normal way of being. And so it may not be like a habit or a routine that you're talking about. It may be mindset. And my mindset is that everything I do, I'm committed full in for the long term. And that has really served me well. So that's
Let's
what it is
give-
for me.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. That is such a powerful lesson, such a powerful principle. And I know why Mike does the flips. Long-term relationship with the partner. It's long-term relationship with the partner. That's where he's thinking when he's doing those. Was this valuable? Great information from the coaches. Awesome. Excellent. I want to open it up to questions from the room, questions from the group. And if there are questions in the chat, Dorina, can you just check through the chat and make sure I don't miss anything? And you can just unmute your mic. Go ahead and shout out your question. First one, unmute the mic, goes first.
Okay, I have a few questions or comments. Okay, first question though, is there for the net worth tracker like a what do you call it? Organized thing that like a document, like a Excel sheet or something on Google Docs that everyone can kind of just use as a template for the net worth tracker. And
Yes,
if there is
indeed.
one, where can we create one?
So we have on my main website, gualtermello.com, you go to tools, there's our digital form. And that's just right on the website. It's easy to use on your phone. Anybody can just quickly do the net worth tracker. Then if you go into Alchemist University, right at the top in the welcome section, we have the PDF version so you can print it out. And we also have the Excel version so you can download it and change it around, adjust it to your business, whatever you want to do. So yes, we already have it. We thought about it. And if there's improvements you'd like to make to it, let us know. But I kept it simple. Mine is extremely complex and has a lot of other assets and other things that I track. So it doesn't make sense for the average investor to be using what I'm using. But the one that's out there is very simple. It works very well. Good question, Sandra.
You're welcome.
And also, it's not about use any net worth tracker. It's literally about just keeping track and keeping that momentum. Like it's real. Trust me. I just
Yeah, but
told
like
you from experience.
examples.
Like as long as it's got the basics, assets, liabilities, done. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be fancy.
Awesome. Let's give Sandra a round of applause. Great question. What else? Other questions? I'll mute your mic.
So Walter, with me, man, most of the time, right, all gas. But at times, right, I just need that help to kind of just set me, I wouldn't say like on a weekly basis, but because it's going to more on a monthly basis to be able to, how could I start making those plans depending on my goals, right? Just identify my goals first, and then I can make those plans for the month so I can just stay focused instead of just like plowing through every day without any type of, tracking like that. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just all gas and being able to kind of like, step back when it needs to be and put the gas when it has to be,
Yeah, this is a powerful question because every entrepreneur who's like you, Kevin, ends up being successful one way or the other because you're just going to do a lot until you get success. You can speed it up. Every Sunday I spend in meditation. I spend in doing research. I read books. I check the market. I get my mind right so that I'm much better prepared for the rest of the week. And then I plan my week out so that it's super efficient. On Sunday, I delete things from the calendar. If I look at anything that I say, this no longer serves where I'm looking to go, this is going to be inefficient, I get rid of it. And then I make room for the things that I know are my one thing. Every week, I'm tweaking the one thing. Monthly, you can do the same exact thing. In fact, that's what the mastermind is all about. Anybody who's an Alchemist Mastery understands that monthly we go in and we say, let's pull out the biggest thing that's stopping you. Let's pull out the biggest tweak we can make. It's basically either an 80-20 review of your business, or it's this problem is stopping you from moving forward. Let's get rid of it, right? Anything that's stopping you from moving forward needs to go, or anything that's inefficient. That's where 80-20 comes in. Anything that's inefficient needs to be removed, or something new needs to be replacing it. And anytime you're running for too long, Kevin, this is, I think, the fear of most entrepreneurs. Hands to the camera if you're afraid of taking wrong action, doing the wrong things, wasting time. That's why this question is so valuable. Is you can make mistakes if you take too much of wrong action, but you'll be better off because you'll have far more data to look at. You'll have far more information to look at when you do reevaluate. So I tell Dorina often, I like to take that higher level view of the business and the company every week so that I can make sure that all action that is going out is right action. And Kevin, your time is extremely valuable, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think I have an awareness that forces me to do this, that my time is also extremely valuable because it's not just my time. I have a team of 20, 30 people out there who are pushing hard. If I miss one level of what their activity is, they're gonna be moving in a really far direction in the wrong way. Does that make sense? So
Definitely.
It's constantly evaluating where everybody in the team is. And it's beyond just the team. There's also over 100 people in the mentorship. There's also 100 people in this community. So I'm constantly reevaluating and saying, where are they all moving? Are they moving in the right direction? And if there's just a little bit off, if one of the coaches is giving advice that may not serve people, that conversation has to happen with the coach, not at the individual level. So having that conversation to tweak the coach, or if Mitch gives us new information about crypto, now we all spread that through the community. Does that make sense? So your business is the same way because you're starting to bring employees on, you're starting to bring people in. So I would say it's probably weekly for you, Kevin. Just a weekly 4 hours on a Sunday. Just pull back, sit back, take a look, and say, where is this company going? What's working? Looking at the data, what isn't working, and spending some time in meditation, saying, who is Kevin Pereira? Am I still happy with who he's becoming? Am I moving in the direction of where I want to grow? And making sure that if there are tweaks to be made, you make those tweaks.
I think that's where it's at, Walter, to be honest with you, is who the hell's Kevin Pereira?
We all have that. And who here wants to be an influencer, or at least knows it would move their business forward, getting more attention? The hardest part of building an audience is knowing who you are. That's the biggest work, finding out where you want to be 10 years from now, who you want to become. And once you know you and you love you and you fall in love with you and you're willing to say, hey, no matter what I say, it's the right thing for me to say, you go out and you're more powerfully going to attract an audience. And Kevin, you're in that same spot with everybody. I'm constantly developing, by the way. Nobody's perfect. I'm constantly identifying new things I like, new things I don't like. So, but if you can get really close to your core authentic self, that person who is 4 years old, running around the house, loving doing certain things, hating doing other things, that 7-year-old who figured out what they really liked early on in life, not much has changed. I can almost guarantee you, not much has changed about who you are and what you like. Is that fair to say? Kevin, is that helpful?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let's give Kevin Pereira a round of applause. He is crushing it. He is a grinder. He's going for the gold.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Dorina, any questions in the chat? Anything I missed? Oh, go ahead, Jackson. Oh, Jackson, go ahead.
It's not really a question, but it's more of an offer to the nation, the Alchemist Nation. We have, me and Goto, we talked, and I was able to get some technology notes, which is basically notes that were made by recordings. And we're getting together, we're finding it, things to put it all together. But we're just trying to find out who might be interested in this great offer. We're getting a discount on the videos. It's only for a limited time, so the quicker you get onto it, the faster you guys probably will get it.
Jackson, is it okay if I do a little coaching on this?
Go for it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what Jackson's talking about? Shake your head no. Would you like to know what Jackson's talking about? Excellent. Jackson, would you like to know the best way to present this or any other offer to a group of people or an individual? Excellent. We start with 2 enrolling questions. Who is at the 100 Millionaire Summit? Hands to the camera if you're at the 100 Millionaire Summit. Who found that the information and knowledge that was at that summit was extremely valuable and maybe hard to contain all of it? Excellent. So would it be reasonable to say that if somebody were sitting there recording it and then had it transcribed so it'd all be in notes that you could go back and look at chapter by chapter, would that be something valuable to you in your life? Maybe not just today, but over the next year? An asset, perhaps a valuable asset, something you could leverage, especially knowing that I won't be able to get my recordings out for probably another 3 weeks. And my workbook won't be out probably for another 2 months. Would it be nice to have that information, those notes faster? Yes. If it was affordable, if it was at the right price, would that be valuable to everybody in the community? Excellent. So now at this point, Joel, what you've, sorry, not Joel, Jackson, is you've enrolled. You've identified your audience, you've enrolled them in something that they're interested in, you identified what they're interested in, and now it makes sense to present how you did it. But nobody really cares, right? Hands to the camera if you care. Yeah, nobody cares how it was done. But what they are interested in, now who's interested in knowing what it would cost and how quickly you could get access to it? Me too. So Jackson, how quickly are we able to get access to these notes or to these audio files?
We can have these notes and audio files given to you in the next week or so, and they'll be done, finalized, and everything organized just for you, and in about a week.
So when you say about a week, can we hold you to this time next Saturday?
Yes, you can.
Let's give Jackson a round of applause. Excellent. And who's now interested knows that these notes will be valuable if you're getting them weeks in advance. And my manual, you will not get transcriptions from me for, and this is not a fact. It's just because we're putting a lot of work into the manual. We're putting a lot of work into it. It's going to be high quality. And what Jackson has is now. It's a now offer. Who knows, now is sometimes better than 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month from now. Yes, 2 months from now. I'm giving myself time because I want it to be right. And I'm not pushing my team any harder than I need to be pushed. So it may be January that we get the 100 Millionaire Summit transcribed manuals out. But what Jackson has is something that he's been able to do now through automation. Jackson, before I ask you the price, can we drop in the chat? And don't inflate the price and don't deflate the price. Just what you actually would pay if you had the option today to pay for this opportunity. Just drop it in the chat. We'll put the dollar amount there. Because Jackson messaged me, said, hey, what should I charge? I was like, dude, I don't know. I'll just ask the people who would potentially buy. What would they pay? So drop a price, a real price, not something that's too much for you, not something that would be too much for other people. Put something that you believe would be the right price for all the notes, all the information, all of the facts, maybe some of the scripts that me and Doug and Terry used in our sessions to be more compelling, to move you forward faster. Who believes that would be extremely valuable? Excellent. And Jackson, what we're doing now is called increasing the value. We're delivering more value and getting more into the detail. While they're thinking about the number, we're increasing the price. This is the value stack. Does that make sense? Awesome. So we're seeing in the chat, I've got 2. Let's everybody drop in. Just throw a number out there. Doesn't matter. There's no judgment on this. Nobody's going to be right or wrong. We've got a couple in there. One at 60, one at 97, one at 100. What else? One at 50. Excellent. Thank you, Christy. Drop them in. Drop them in. Melissa, and don't get stuck on what other people are writing. I want you to say your true, genuine opinion. Forget other people's opinions. Forget other people's numbers. This is about you. I see 97. I see 75. I see 49, 99. I love that. I love the sense at the end. Very clever. So 50, 97, 97, 75, 49, 99, 197, all notes and all recordings. Yes, both. So you're getting the audio and you're getting the text, the notes. Excellent. Yeah. So Terry's like, I might use that myself. Perfect. Clever. And the more you speak and the more you create content, the more valuable this stuff is. So, depending on how you're going to use something will really dictate the value of an asset. So we've got anywhere between, it seems 50 to 100. What if we put it at $39? Who'd be interested at 39? It's more affordable than everything that somebody believed it would be. Does that make sense? Jackson, if we said we'd commit to everybody who's on the call right now who sends you a message, by the way, can you drop in the chat what the easiest way to connect with you is? The easiest way to message you? Anybody who messages you right now, and here we go, value stack. We're about to do the drop. Who saw me do this at the summit? All right. It's not $197. It's not $97. It's not even $75. In fact, I know that this is an outrageous deal at $50, but it's a crazy deal at $39.97. Who knows that this is a once in a lifetime offer? Great opportunity. Take action now. That's what successful people do. When they see great opportunities, they take action. Let's give Jackson a round of applause. Very cool. Selling is a game. Man, if you got a great product, make it available to people, right? If you got something that's going to help people, let them have it. And if they believe it's worth significantly more, awesome. When you find a way to make it more affordable, you're the champion. Does that make sense? You want to be their champion. What other questions we got? What other questions, comments, opportunities?
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm a coach. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go into student mode for a second here if everyone will, indulge me for a moment. So this, practice you just went through with Jackson made me think. So we're going to be doing the crypto workshop in a couple of weeks, 2-hour workshop, right? For everyone that joined the Alchemist Mastery, which congratulations on basically knowing you're going to crush the next year of your life because you don't have a choice.
Can I interrupt for a sec?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, is it possible for you to be a millionaire, for you to be extremely intelligent, extremely talented in teaching crypto, watch a sales script go through and still miss the first 2 questions you're supposed to ask somebody to enroll them? Is that possible?
We're not there yet, Walter.
Those are the first 2 questions. Who would be interested in learning more about cryptocurrency after watching Mitch's talk? Who thinks that was hugely valuable? Who knows that crypto right now is the asset to be investing in if you have cash? Who's aware of that? Yes. Mitch, can you tell us about what's going on?
Walter, I love and accept your help, but I actually had a question, different part, but I love it. What that's about, I mean, that's basically about taking people from zero to hero with crypto and putting them in a spot where, they're not going to get taken advantage of. Because we're in full bull season, which means scammers are out in full force. So knowing not only what to do, but what not to share, because plenty of people have that story. Some of us have friends in this room that have that story. So that's a big piece. It's not only, knowing what to do, but knowing what not to do, right? On top of understanding, how to review a crypto in terms of investing in it, just like you would hey, I like this stock, I'm investing in Tesla because of XYZ. Like, why would I do that with a crypto, right? These are some of the little things.
If I can interrupt just for a sec, sorry, Mitch.
Yeah.
For everybody who is listening to this right now, you will get people in your inbox, in your DM, messaging you about this blockchain miner, Bitcoin miners, Ethereum miners, Doge miners. I was so blessed to just be able to message Mitch and be like, hey, what is this about? Is this legitimate? And then he explained, this is a scam. This is something that a lot of people do to leverage and make money. So make sure that anything that comes through your inbox like that, run it by Mitch. And I know, Mitch, I apologize in advance for how many messages you're going to get. The easiest way to do this is show up to his calls on Monday night at 6 p.m. He has the
Tuesday
crypto
night.
call. Tuesday night, sorry.
Tuesdays
night
at
at
6:30 is the
6:30.
newbie call, but Monday is going to be, well, Monday in a couple of weeks is going to be the workshop. And valid point. And yeah, I mean, honestly, you don't even need my feedback. You can just use the overall theme of, if someone hits you up about a mining thing, just pass, because either A, it's a scam, or B, if it's not, at this point, there's no money to be made in it. Like, there's mining groups, and those were profitable, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Now it's just, you can get a better return on your investment just staking your crypto or something like that. So it's just kind of a blanket. Don't even bother with the mining groups. If someone wants to get into mining, do it yourself. Obviously, that's a whole nother thing you need to learn. But that's a great example, Walter. Same thing with a lot of airdrops. They talk about that, where you get like free coins. Be very particular and careful about that. If they're asking for anything outside of your wallet address, then definitely a scam. Don't share passwords and things like that. So be
All right,
wary
Mitch,
of.
you're doing that thing you over deliver where you give too much.
Yeah, well, you
information.
asked these damn questions. I was just trying to get to a damn point, which is, so the crypto workshop, right? If we open that up to the public, the question would be, how much is that worth to you? How much would you pay to be part of that 2-hour workshop? I was basically what you just did with Jackson. I was like, hell, I can get open feedback right now. It was supposed to be like a 1-minute question, and then we turned into a whole thing. But yeah, 2-hour workshop, taking you from zero to hero with crypto, showing you what to do and what not to do, showing you, how to find crypto currencies that you want to invest in, showing you the tips and tricks on how to find coins that have the potential of going 10, 20, 50x. Because yeah, Bitcoin's awesome, but those days are gone. Like, you're not going to 10x Bitcoin in the next 2 years. Like, so how do I find coins that have that potential? I have a really simple, cute little trick that you guys can use that anyone, like, when I say it's like simple is beyond like the word. So with those things said, if you're not part of that group, if we open this to the public, what would you be willing to pay to be on that 2-hour call and basically learn how to not only invest in crypto, but also how to get all the bonuses, what exchanges to sign up for? I mean, I can get you $25 in free Bitcoin with a certain exchange. So
I like it. So this is Tuesday night. No, this is gonna be your workshop. What days did we decide on the crypto?
We're going to
workshop?
send out the email to all the members probably on Monday. It's going to be November 15th from 6 to 8 before the mentorship call. So be ready on the 15th for a eventful long evening of knowledge.
Awesome. And so for everybody who's an Alchemist Mastery, you already paid for this. Just so you know, everybody who's an Alchemist Mastery, this is part of your 9 virtual workshops with the specialists going deep into certain topics. So you've already paid for this. For anybody who did not purchase Alchemist Mastery at the summit, this is an opportunity for you to get into this one particular training. Who sees value in learning more about crypto right now and is like, yeah, I'll pay a little extra? Awesome. Drop the number in the chat. Drop it what it's worth to you. I do see I see some sort of challenge going here where people drop in 100 and then go $1 more. So 100.
They think they're auctioning it off or something.
Do I have
just
102 in the back? Man in the red coat.
This is not an auction.
Awesome.
One of the things that I think that everybody in here really would be beneficial for them to start taking advantage of is really understanding how to put an offer together and how to really understand what's going on with an offer, because the price that you're investing, the money that you're investing in something is one side of the equation, but the ROI that you're receiving from what you're paying for is what you really want to be looking at. And whenever anybody goes into buying something, buying a house or buying a coaching package or buying a car, when you're looking only at what you're spending, you're looking at it from a scarcity mindset. You want to start looking at, what am I going to benefit out of this? If I only looked at the fact that I paid $35,000 for my car, well, I paid 35,000, but what has my car allowed me to do for the last 6 years is what I need to be starting to look at. And the fact I never broke down, I never had any problems with the engine, I never had any kind of issues with it. The value starts to build. And so we want to think about when we're investing in some kind of program or property or what are we getting out of it on the larger scale, not what we're putting into it. Because I watch the chat and people are really underselling themselves when they're going, well, I'd pay $49 for that. You know, I bought a coaching package for $50,000 and I have made multiple six figures year over year from that $50,000. Now, a lot of people go, oh my God, that's way too much. Yeah, but you're not sitting at multiple six figures. What are you going to get and what are you going to do with the results of what you're buying? That's what we want to look at.
That's definitely an interesting way of looking at it. It is, for me, like each investment is different. When I take a training program, each one's investment, it's based on me and what I know I'm going to do with it.
Exactly.
You know, like for some people, crypto, like if you're sitting on, you know, we got $100 in the bank, you've got bigger problems, right? There's bigger problems for you to be working out right now. You got to go get that income. But if you're sitting on 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, and you don't know what's going on with crypto, you're missing a massive amount of money, like massive amount of money. So it's just a matter of where you're at, what you're looking to do, and certain information will be valuable to you. When I hired Dennis, that was tens of thousands of dollars, but he looked at my back end of my business and he said, man, like if I can't make you a 10x return in the first couple of months, shit, like I wouldn't take you on as a client. It wouldn't make sense. But he said, with your back end, with what you're doing, learning communication at the level I'm going to teach you communication is going to make you a massive return on investment. And it has, you know, just the summit alone, I moved more people forward than I've ever moved in the past. So yes, it worked out financially in one time. So it worked out financially, but it's also worked out emotionally. It's given me the spiritual direction that I really wanted, was moving more people, serving more people. And mentally, it's given me that excitement of having more projects on the plate, like more different businesses, more different, how do we work with each other? So it's, yeah, to what Terry said, investment in education is all up to what you will do with it. You know, what are you going to do with it? What is your ROI going to look like? And some of the investments that I've made have been extremely affordable, but they've been extremely uncomfortable. And some of the investments I've made have been extremely, you know, high level investments and also extremely uncomfortable. You know, I've never made one that was easy. So it's part of the game. So Mitch, I think the number I keep seeing is 100. I would drop it to something lower than that and make it easier for people to get into, because that's what I like to do. But you know me, I'm always undercutting the cost of things.
Actually, usually you're arguing with me that I charge people like nothing and just share all my time.
You're the only coach. You're the only one I do that with.
Instead of spending it trading crypto. But we'll see. Like I said, I still got to decide if I'm going to open it up to the public. I might keep it intimate just for the people in the mastery program. So if I'm going to open it up, I'm not. If I'm going to open it up, it's not going to be some. Honestly, it's not going to be a low price, because I feel like that would be almost I don't know, not serving my mastery people. So
let's give Mitch a round of applause. That's a very good way of looking at it. Who agrees that Mitch is holding accountability? I love it. And the
bottom line is, I mean, I already know I've made you and Mike shine like tens of thousands in crypto, so I'm not going to discount myself. You always yell at me for doing that, so I'm just going to start being a little cocky. Bear with me as I move that to just confidence.
And in your business, this may happen. Each one of you may happen to find a point where your time becomes more valuable, where the amount of people you're committing to becomes more, you know, time consuming, and you do have to raise your value based on that. You know, and that's a part of this game, especially when you're a coach, especially when you're serving in a very specific niche. You can only handle so much at a time. That's where you'll start pushing your prices up, and that's okay. That's what Dennis did, right? He, you know, over years, he had more and more people who had interest. He had to push his price up because he's still only one person. Who gets this? This can happen in your business too. Excellent. Who thinks Mitch should open this up to the public? Who thinks that this is something that other people should get access to? Awesome. All right, Mitch, whatever you pick will be the right price.
Thank you for everyone's time and feedback. It is much appreciated. And one of the big reasons I'm part of this community period, whether it's as a coach or anything else. Thank you again.
Awesome. Let's give Mitch a round of applause. Awesome stuff. We'll open up to more questions. I know the mastermind mastery members, the mastermind can go 3 to 4 hours. It may be faster. We got a strategy we're going to use this week that may make it more intense, but get some food. Make sure that you get some food in your stomach. Make sure you get some food sitting there. Make sure you got your water bottles so you don't have to get up in case you're listening to somebody and you want to serve, you want to give some information, or your turn comes up and you happen to be hungry, like forget hunger, right? But make sure you have some food, some snacks, or a lunch that you can eat during or before. Everybody commits to coming full and having food and water. Excellent. Excellent. We want to serve you the best we can. If your head's in the game, you're going to play it full out. Since we still have people on the call, what questions do you have? What questions came up from today's principle or your business, your specific business? Something that isn't related to something we talked about. If it's real estate related, if it's qualifying people, systems, anything like that. This is your chance to ask questions. We want to serve you the best we can. And just unmute the mic. You're fine. Unmute the mic or drop it in the chat.
Anyone?
Awesome. Yeah, my
Bueller?
computer's messing up on me. So
Bueller?
we did it then. It sounds like we've had a very powerful week. Hands to the camera if you commit to move forward on the things that we learned today. And by the way, no questions always scare me. It means that there hasn't been enough action.
Well, I have a quick question, but it's kind of related to me and like off the topic of what we talked about here in this meeting.
Excellent. You're welcome to bring it on.
All right, awesome. Feel free anyone to like step up and like just kind of like give me some feedback on that. But the question is related to like I'm going through that 8 to 5 type of job, right? I'm a software engineer and I am having a little bit of trouble with distributing my time on, all the things that I want to do. So I'm a grinder, that there's no doubt about that. But the only problem is that I try to do too much at once and I'm kind of struggling a little bit with that. So I've been thinking a little bit about creating also a YouTube channel to kind of just talk about my journey as a real estate investor and, someone who, comes from a low income community. So I'm having trouble with that, finding off market deals on my own, of course, because so I'm actually going to join the wholesaling mastermind just so I can learn different strategies on how to go about finding off market deals. Some of them I'll keep them for myself. Some of the others that don't, if the numbers don't work out for me, then I would just, pass it on to someone else. But yeah, that's kind of like the idea that kind of like the struggles that I'm having where, I'm doing a little bit of too much. And I know that, a lot of people say take it one step at a time. I'm on the contract for my first house, my first multifamily house. And, a lot of my friends and people around me are telling me, oh, just wait until you close that to like move on to your next one. But for me personally, like that's just waiting too much. Like I can do 2 things parallel, like simultaneously to each other. So why not, as I'm on the contract, keep on looking for a fixer upper, right? So
Absolutely.
I know that was a lot. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you get 2 things in there. Yuri, as far as keeping the deals flowing and how to scale from one deal to the next deal to the next deal, I'm going to strongly encourage the mentorship. It's very affordable for the amount of information access you're getting. And Dorina will drop the link for a quick call with you. And then as far as the influencing side, I've been thinking about teaching this because I know in order for our 100 millionaires to inspire and build 100 millionaires, which is, Yuri, what you're basically looking at doing is sharing your journey, teaching people how to get to that next level. Yeah. I would have to teach social influence at some point. I would have to go back and train that because it's changed. It's changed. And the way I use it is changed. Is that something the community would be interested in if I went and started teaching a little bit about how we're gaining followers, how we're gaining attention, how we're building community?
100%.
All right. So that is something I'll commit to. It will be probably not right away. Dorina has not begged me, not asked me. She has booked the calendar with 8 trips over the next 2 months. And so the next 2 months, because I begged her and asked her to be understanding over the last 2 months, leading up to the summit. Actually, there was no begging on either one of our accounts. We just had a conversation. We committed to 2 months prior, so the next 2 months we're going to go have fun. After that, I will be recording the audiobook for Get the Deal, and I'll finish that in January. So my guess is February, I'll start doing a training similar to this, all about influence, how to build your audience, how to get the attention. I'll bring Mitch Durfian, who built a channel on YouTube, who gets $500 a month consistently from his massive amount of followers. And who thinks that would be valuable? That'd be fun. So Yuri, where do you come up with the time? Man, I talk about spending money on advertising all the time. I'm not spending money on ad spend, like dollar spend. I'm spending money on my video editors. I'm spending money on my videographers. I'm spending money on the people who manage my posts. So that's where a lot of the funds that I put into marketing go. It's creating the content itself. If I were to tell you how to build followers fast and just like this one quick conversation, I would say that you want to do it from TikTok. You want to build from TikTok and send them to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I keep hearing a lot from my girlfriend about that. I'm not a TikTok fan. I haven't used it, but she's like, "Oh, you gotta get on TikTok. You gotta get on TikTok." So props to her for sure.
When you get on TikTok, this is for everybody. Be a creator, not a consumer, because TikTok will suck you in. Man, it's like Clubhouse. You get on there and it's like 4 hours have gone by and what the hell happened? Be a creator on TikTok, not a consumer. We agree? Yes? Awesome. Excellent. The only one you're allowed to consume is my videos, and anybody in this community. Just get stuck in that rabbit hole. That'll be healthy for you. Let's give Yuri a round of applause. Awesome question. Love having you here in the conversation, brother. Frank Montero, I saw your hand up. Was your hand up earlier? You were just high-fiving us?
Yeah, I was agreeing with what you said.
Frank's got some cool stuff coming. Who saw his cards at the event where you could scan the cards and all the contact information came up? This is the best I've ever seen it done. I mean, I've seen people with the QR codes. I've seen people with the sticker scanners. But this, not just the fact that it works, but it's also the website that he's developed is actually really easy. So you have all your social media platforms on there. So when I'm out networking, I'm just like, hey, ask for my phone number. I'm like, no, you're not getting my number. But you can follow me on Facebook. Like here, you can message me on Instagram or Facebook because it's easier for me. I don't know them, but over time, I might be interested. Hands to the camera if you do have my phone number, if you've already got it. Use it. Don't call me. Text me only. Feel free to use it anytime. I committed to the initial people that I was building this community with, building this world with. Going forward, I'm allowing the coaches to have that direct contact. It just doesn't make sense for me to, unless you're a coach looking to help more people, in which case that's who I'm highly recruiting right now. Coaches who are looking to grow, looking to expand, influencers who are looking to get me on their podcasts. And the coaching strategies that we're looking to do are to help you serve more people. We're not looking for coaches within the Alchemist coaching program. Like we have our core guys, but what we're looking for are people who are looking to build coaching programs, people who are looking to serve, people who have some unique skill and they want to get to the next level. We've done it. So we want to teach it because that's how you build millionaires. Does that make sense? Excellent. And if you're a real estate agent and you want more business, you need to learn how to be a coach. You don't have to charge for coaching, but you do need to learn how to train people on how to buy real estate, train people how to get the money, train people how to move through the process. Does that make sense? Awesome. You're going to see me talking a lot of shit about real estate agents over the next couple of months because I think the whole industry is fucked and not doing it right. So we're going to see if we can fix things so that you guys and your proteges and the people coming after you are not dealing with so much garbage out there. Hands to the camera if you know there's work to be done in that sector. Yes, we will help. Ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every one of you. I am so proud of your success and even more proud of what you're becoming, who you're becoming, where you're looking to grow, the communities you're looking to serve, the families you're looking to take care of, and the accomplishments you're looking to have over the course of your life. This is not a short-term plan. This is a very long-term vision. We got a lot of people to help. So thank you for your commitment to yourself, to your success, and to the people you're going to serve. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best.
The best, the best, the best.
The best.
The best.
I'll see everybody in Alchemist Mastery at the Mastermind in 16 minutes. Go get some food.